Hello there, welcome to Alpine Bravo. My name's Brendan. This is my stream for all things Microsoft Flight Simulator. And in this stream, I'm going to be taking out not the H145 by HBG, but the Aérospatiale Alouette 3 by Taug Hangar, which is a lovely little payware old school helicopter. Very much the opposite flying experience from the H145, as everything is pretty manual. Very famous helicopter, particularly for mountain rescue, but it offers great visibility, so it's pretty good for sightseeing as well. I'm still learning this aircraft. Hi, welcome if you just joined. Taking the Alouette 3 out for a bit of a scenic flight and a test spin around the Scottish Highlands. So yeah, I'm still learning this, so it's a good opportunity to just take it out for a bit of a test flight and see how it is. I've had a few flights in it since I got it, and it's really nice. It is very different from the H145. There's no real automation in it at all. In reality, the aircraft doesn't even have trim for the rotor, although you can set it in the sim and it does work, which does help a little bit. But it's really nicely modelled. It's still a bit of a work in progress, I think, from the developer. There's a few features he still hasn't quite finalised yet, but yeah, certainly the exterior model is really nice. And in the cockpit is pretty nice too. The sounds are good. This is the latest version, which came out a few weeks ago. Made a few changes to it. It flies a little bit better, and it's got some other little features like this now. This little, it's not exactly a tablet, but it allows you to control what objects you can see. So we want the co-pilot. I don't want skis, but if I add the winch, you now hop outside and you can see there is a winch assembly being added, which does work as well, apparently, but I've not tried it yet. Because, quite frankly, I'm not sure how you're supposed to hover and operate the winch at the same time. Because hovering demands pretty much all your attention. And then there's a bunch of other things you can add on, including engine covers, antenna. I quite like having the mirror on the front. And I'll put the big antenna on. I'm not. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's that. So those are antenna that they actually used for mountain rescue, radio direction finding equipment. That's for finding buried avalanche victims, I believe. I don't want that. Yeah, okay, I think that's everything I want. So, still don't have any checklists or anything like that for this helicopter, but we're starting in Plockton, just across from the Isle of Skye. I'm going to take a little flight up towards Applecross, a very remote peninsula on the mainland. It used to be remote, and it's still very beautiful, but it's unfortunately become a real tourist hotspot now, thanks to the North Coast 500 and yes, Top Gear, I think. It's yeah, it gets pretty busy in the summertime now, but still a lovely place to visit. Got Britain's highest road, and probably Britain's only road that comes close to Alpine in its nature. So we'll go over to Applecross and we'll do a landing there, and then from Applecross we'll head across to Isle of Skye, fly a little bit around Skye, and then land at Portree. So this here is a little custom freeware airport mod that I'm trying out for the first time as well, which is pretty nice. So he's done some nice little details. It's good. still got too many trees though, because you know in reality Plockton doesn't have any of these trees around it. Plockton, which is famous for where they filmed Hamish Macbeth, the TV series, and it's also famous because it's very mild and temperate and has palm trees grow there famously, thanks to the effects of the Gulf Stream. Anyway, let's get the aircraft started up. Don't have any checklists, but getting familiar with the starting procedure, it's pretty straightforward. Nice old school aircraft. So batteries on, avionics on, gyro compass on, and we'll put our anti-collisions on. Okay, well, there's the GPS on. Okay, the fuel valve can be opened, and the boost pump can go on. Check our surroundings. Okay, that's all good. Starter's on, indicated. Engine oil and pressure lights are on. Okay, that's the APU kicking in. You can see turbine RPM rising. Exhaust temperature rising, temperature and pressure rising. That's the starter disengaging. Now we let this get to above 19. There's 18. Okay, I don't think it's going to go any higher than that now. And now we can start introducing fuel. Oh, we should. Got the tooltips on just while I'm learning the cockpit. Doesn't really come with a detailed manual, so one of the best things you can do in that case is just put tooltips on and mouse around and see what's what. And you can find what sort of like click spots. There's one there to remove that door. One there to remove that door. Okay, we're just slowly introducing the fuel because that allows everything to get synced and avoid hot starts. Okay, right, that's alternator on. If you forget to put the alternator on, it will die on you. Sudden AC power landing lights on, and position lights going on as well. Don't need any instruments. Available on pressure. Just going to use the B key. Don't have the pitot heater on actually. I don't really need that on. Where is it? Right on it. Okay. Let's try and roll it forward a little bit. Think about the Alouette. It has wheels, so you can taxi it on the ground, but it's quite tricky. Okay, there's the head tracking on. this dial here, this rather complicated dial, performs a number of functions, but the main thing is it shows us our basically our collective power, or pitch angle actually is what it is, but it's effectively a power gauge. Okay, so we are, and I've also got installed a mod which puts the instruments into imperial, because the base version's all meters and kilometers per hour. Yes. So this is all in feet and feet per second and knots, which is a bit easier. Okay, what can I bring up? This is 30%. Right now, it's starting to tilt, starting to get somewhere. Still actually on the ground, this is just rocking on its suspension. So if we push the cycle forward a bit, I have succeeded in taxiing it on the wheels quite nicely. Rotor wash effect is really nice. Okay, now we want to taxi a little minute. Let's collect it down, give ourselves sort of. We're pretty much into the wind here. Yeah, just a couple of knots of wind from the windsaw. So we'll take off and we'll head straight north up towards the Applecross Hills. That. It's about 50% power. And you right pedal forward, because it's got wheels away. Can do a rolling takeoff, which is an art I have not mastered yet. But it's good if you're operating somewhere hot and high. You couldn't do a normal hover, take off to a hover and then climb out. Okay, well, we're climbing up at 700 feet per minute. Get it up to 1,000 feet, and what we'll do is we'll follow the line of the Bar Road. Absolutely stunning. That's the village of Plockton down in there. In that bay, you can just see the marina. So the big castle down there. It's now a luxury, it has its own railway stop. And you know, it was built as some private residence back in the day for some very rich, and then it became it was like a hospitality college. People learn how to work in hotels, and then it was vacant for a while, so when they bought it back up and turned it into a luxury hotel. So up in front of us is remember the name of it. It is a shipyard where they build oil rigs, components, or repair oil rigs. It's got a very graving dock, so there's quite a lot of employment in this area. This is Strathcarron. You can actually see Strathcarron. Strathcarron's over there. very instinctual flying, this helicopter, compared to H145. It's all entirely visual, taking all of my attitude cues from just position of the compass against the horizon, things like that. It's interesting. I think that is there because I've got the Aerosoft North Sea landmarks, and so it's got a helipad on it. I should try and land on it. Not today. I won't be able to land on something as small as that. Yeah, I think that's there because I've got that North Sea Orbix, not Orbix, Aerosoft landmarks, North Sea installed, and it puts in quite a few things on the West Coast. So we're at 1300 feet. This is, there's the Bialach Road there. So we'll turn into it. Kishorn is the name of that village. And I'm trying to remember the name of the shipyard there. And put the nose down a bit, try and get a little bit of speed up quite slowly. The famous Bialach-Nabar Road. It's a tremendous cycle. Pretty fun drive as well. I've driven it many times. Got a friend who used to work in Applecross, and she had to drive this road a lot. It gets shut in winter time as well, and it used to be that this was the only road. So if it was shut in the winter time because of snow, it was a boat. It was the only other option, but they had built another road around the coast to the north. But it is a heck of a drive. So this is still the best way in and out. Although in the summertime now, it is with a lot of camper vans on it. And motorbikes, and Ferraris, and Porsches, and everything else. It's got a few hairpins right up here at the top. See, this is Britain's highest road. I think it tops out at close to 2,500 feet. You suddenly come up onto this high plateau. It's very really well modelled. Absolutely stunning scenery. Don't know if it was in Great Britain World Update, but they've got really, really good ground imagery for the Scottish, these parts of the Scottish Highlands. You know, and there's no silly pine trees growing everywhere and stuff like that. It's really, really accurate. High resolution. All these rock formations, just as it is in reality. Really impressive. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator at its absolute best. And yeah, the rocks really are red like this. It's all sandstone. The mountains are all made out of sandstone. Sitting on top of a nice base, I believe. Nice with a G and an A. That's Applecross Bay down in there with the beach. Sort of a lush little valley tucked away, but the helipad is to the south of the village itself. Now I'm still climbing, which I don't want to do, so I'm not going very fast, so let's put in a bit of a dive and pick up some speed. But I say it flies. Wow, it's got such a French face, that co-pilot. It flies really, all helicopters in the sim as in reality. You have to be very gentle in your inputs. I think it's the nose, mate. It's a sort of a French nose. Fair enough, it's a French helicopter. I'm flying it in a French livery at the minute as well. So the helipad is a new helipad that's been built for the community of Applecross, and it is for medical evacuation purposes, or air ambulances to get people who need it to hospital quickly. And it was funded partly by, well, mainly by a charity called HELP, which is a hospital helicopter landing pad charity for the air ambulance trusts in England and Scotland and Wales. And the campaign was launched after it was a tragic case of a young 17-year-old girl, 18, or maybe she was 18, dying. She did actually get evacuated by air ambulance from Applecross, and we got her to hospital, but unfortunately she was a bit too poorly. But it brought home to the community and lots of us how vital it was to have the air ambulance service, and that they needed an all-weather landing spot. So the charity stepped in and helped build the pad, and they actually got a big donation from Hugh Grant, the actor, who contributed to it directly, which was really good. So the landing pad is just to the right of that body of water up in front. It's not that easy to spot from here. I've come this way to turn into the wind. Now this is a landing pad, custom scenery. Oh, there it is. I've just seen the age. I was looking in the wrong spot. Okay, which means I'm a little high and a little fast. It's a custom scenery that I've made myself, which mainly involved clearing out all the crazy trees. So just bring it forward, trying to stay at that dreaded vortex ring state. Increasingly collective as I lose airspeed. I'll try and land on the hap. Yeah, I'm going to have to improve those little white marks. They're too hard to see. Popping away. Come on, up, 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 up. I bounced. Not a great landing. I kind of reset my view just at the wrong moment. So there's some rescue and some police there. My zoom camera there was all tilted to the right now. It's the longest landing bug. kind of just rolls backwards and forwards. So yeah, it's a little personal pad that I made. Okay, well, let's have a cross. We'll take off. We should still be into the wind here. Let's check that map. Yeah, 3 knots at 353. Okey-doke. Sadly, the landing there doesn't actually really do anything. It doesn't show the ground properly, which is what you want it for. Okay, bring it back on the collector, putting in a bit of right. Pedal. It's 4. So that's light wheels. Some welly. This is the sound of Rassy here. Crossing, and that's the island of Rassy there. And you can see the bump, the highest point in the middle of it, that is actually an old volcano cone. And it's much more pronounced in reality as a cone, a flat top. The whole of the Isle of Skye was a lot of pretty recent geological, volcanic activity, which in geological terms is very recent compared to a lot of the other, like the sandstone that we of the Applecross Hills is really, really ancient compared to a lot of the rocks on Skye. Geology is complicated. Yeah, the black pool and on Skye are volcanic nature. It's tricky flying over water. Trim in. Yeah, it's quite tricky to. There's no trim indicators. Putting in a bit of left rotor trim as well, which is helping balance things out. At this speed, the aircraft doesn't need any anti-torque. It's going to gain some altitude. Down to about 300 feet. this kind of trimmed there. I haven't got my arms under control as much at the moment. Live weather. This is obviously quite nice. It's not live time, but it is live weather. Keep some altitude pretty low. Very deceptive. It's down at 200 feet now. The water is so mirror calm, you're not really getting any depth perception of it. So I believe that mountain up in front is Glamag, which is one of the red cone. No, it's not Glamag, it's Ancool. No autopilot. Makes map reading trickier. Stop that. And roll, yeah, well, the only thing is with trimming it, because there are no real trim indicators. I mean, there are some funny trim type indicators down here. There's a switch called trim reset. Trim reset, but yeah, it doesn't seem to work. I actually have rewrote a trim reset mapped to a button. Don't need to rely on anything in your pocket. When you come out of, when you reset the trim, if you don't sort of progressively ease it off first, you get a lot of sudden pitch up normally, which is cool. So these are the red cooling of sky. I think that is Blavin, maybe over there, I'm not sure. Or it could be, I don't know, so that's part of the main cooling chain. We'll fly around and we'll see. But this is the Loch Slagachen Hotel on the head of it. Glare off that sun. Getting quite a bit of height, but I don't mind that. Road through the island there, and it runs into the bridge. This can't be Glamag, because Glamag is for Broadford. But yeah, it's another one in the red cooling. And the red cooling are sort of all quite rounded, covered in lots of scree. Whereas the black cooling are much sharper and jagged mountains, but they're not really well done in this simulator. These are superb. I mean, these are absolutely. I mean, look at that, fantastic. And the level of detail. Every sort of little bit of rock outcrop on individual boulders almost. It's fantastic. You often see pictures taken from the Isle of Skye. There's a little stone bridge with stunning mountains in the background. Well, that little stone bridge is down here. A little bridge over the river Slagachen, and that's the Slagachen Hotel in front of us. Orbix scenery pack. They've modelled the bridge. I have to get right down close to look at it. Yeah, so this is Skirnagillion mountain here. This river here, I've walked up this path beside this river a few times. It's absolutely stunning. The river itself. Much nicer than some of the other much more popular tourist spots around. I mean, it's busy, but it's not crazy busy. Not like Skirnagillion up there, which is the peak of the Young Main. That's quite a climb. It's definitely got some challenging bits in it, and the whole of the Black Coulee are pretty challenging mountains. There's very few that you can just walk up. Nearly all of them you need to climb. Some of them, a rope is pretty essential. And this is the ferry pools. Famous ferry pools are down in here somewhere. As they'll have been modelled in the sim. This is got a whack big river. But yeah, the pools are down in there. It's the scene of much madness. They are so popular. This is Glen Brittle. It's a very beautiful glen. The helicopter's well trimmed, it's almost flying itself now. Glen Brittle there, and this is a wonderful campsite and beach right at the head here. Go right up into the Coulee. Really getting a chance to see them. That's the island of Rum off in the distance, with the smaller islands of Egg and Muck beside it. Now then, if I come in here, this is what's the name of the quarry? And there's lots of great rock climbing in here. This is where the this quarry or the next one. I had a feeling it was to my left actually. Maybe not. No, this is Skirnalster, so Keogh, which is a very famous scene from the film Highlander, was filmed on top of it. Is in around here somewhere. And that's the Great Stone Chute. It's brutal. Very good, but not really. capturing the truly jagged nature of the mountains and the ridge. Sure what was happening there. Wasn't sure if it was a helicopter or me, or the head tracking. And that is Kursk.
X-ray Bravo Romeo Oscar, traffic JLB Aviation Golf X-ray Uniform Sierra Lima is on final runway 06 to land. X-ray Bravo Romeo Oscar, traffic JMB Aviation Golf X-ray Uniform Sierra Lima 2 miles southwest, inbound visual runway 06.
Doing some more sightseeing. Yeah, somewhere down in here is the inaccessible pinnacle of Skur Jarek, which is a blade of rock that sits off just from the summit. Is the summit of the mountain, and it's just like a shark's fin of rock. It's not a hard climb, but it's not very long either. Very cool. Okay, you can see the island laid out in front of us. We'll head across up to Portree. Flying past the Talisker Distillery, which is just up here. It's a feature in the Set-ADC. That is just so well modelled. It's just the ridge lines itself, but the faces are brilliant. Okay, 10 knots. I am descending quite rapidly. Showing 2,000. 2,000 feet. 600 meters. 600 meters. 1,800 feet. Yeah. Thereabouts. Fortunately, I know my way around this island quite well, so I don't have to do too much navigating. I've got a GPS down there, but GTA 530, 430 stack, but it's kind of hard to view it unless you pop it out into another screen. Well, I can head up in this direction. I know that big bump off in the distance is the Store Hill, just to the north of Portree. This part of the island is all just rolling moorland, leaving the cooling behind. Yeah, the more I fly the Alouette, autopilot, so it makes doing exterior flying quite tricky. Really matter. Slowed down quite a bit. Put some horses on. Gonna be some nice flying up there. Oh dear. Ah, dear, pilot fatigue. Yeah, it's a good sign to bring it to an end. Let's go find our helipad in Portree, which is another little custom pad that I've made. It's another pad that's been built with help from that same charity, Help. There was a helipad there, but it had fallen into disrepair. And they spent a bit of money on it a few years ago, bringing it up to modern standards. Still quite a tight little pad. Not a lot of room to drift around. There's a wire fence around the pad. You can easily tangled in. I can see Portree there. Oh dear. Yep, definitely pilot fatigue getting it. Still got rudder trimming. I'll start taking it out actually. Just reset it there. Pitch up. So it's just a good idea to take the trim out before you come in for your landing. There's Portree up in front. Do a low pass over the town. see the old man of Snore off in the distance. That was in the start of the movie. What was it called? Prometheus. They filmed all that up there. Middle of rock. Mechanic. Trying to be fairly slow. Sort of 50 knot pass over Portree. The king was here recently, I think. Or might have been before he became king. He came and tried fish and chips down here in the harbour. Slower than 50 knots, we're down to 30. There we go, Portree Harbour. I know that jetty well. I've got boats alongside there plenty of times. It's very picturesque. And again, Orbix have modelled it. On the harbour front. I just noticed it when I was flying over it the other day, so oh, look at that. Okay. And they've done the church as well. Hello, Portree. And to be fair, you can't get very good fish and chips down in that harbour. Alouette also got a fantastic fish and chip shop. Okay. All these conifers are pretty unrealistic. Some trees in Portree, but nothing like this. Our helipad up here somewhere, towards this moor, some on the outskirts of the town. They seem to have got the draw. The scale of a lot of the rivers too wide, you can actually see the trees from the underlying imagery. Right, there's our helipad. So the wind is coming from our right, so I'll take a look out to the left here and turn in. Just losing light a little bit, on we go. was all going so well. I know what was happening. I was pressing on the thumb switch and moving the view again. Ah, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't touch the fence. Better. Well, it was all good up until that last moment. Yeah, I didn't hit the thing. Hello, Portree. Welcome. It was inside the yellow circle, on the tarmac. I'll take that. Right, let's turn the head tracking off. So, centrally collective is cyclic. And we can start our shutdown procedure now. Just bring the fuel flow back. Okay, wait for the lower RPM to decrease. Less than 100. There's 100. We can put the road brake on. Interesting. Yeah, it shuts down the engine as well when you pull the fuel lever back, which I'm not sure it should. Anyway, our boost pump can go off. Can put our parking brake on. Look at the back of his head. Something going on here. What are you doing? Right. There we are. Okay, our nav lights can go off, gyro compass can go off, pitot off, AC power supply off, avionics off, alternator off, running lights off, and our battery can go off. It seems like the APU is still running. Cool. Okay, it's a very easy shutdown procedure. Sure there's more to it in reality. There's a lot more to it in reality. Drone camera has gone for a little roll around again. Yeah, I must do something about all these trees. See, this before I did the mod, this moor here was completely covered in trees, which it isn't in reality. This here is a heathland. It's got silver birch on it. I was able to kind of thin it out a bit, and it's still not quite right, but it's better than it was. And we have this, just this bit of groundwork. It's only a little pad, but it still took a long time to make. It's amazing how long it takes to do scenery, because it's really fiddly doing it in the computer, in the Microsoft Flight Simulator SDK. It is maddeningly, frustratingly fiddly. So I have a lot of respect for scenery developers. I'll happily pay the prices that they ask, because they have earned it, I am certain. Apart from some of them who've just imported terrible FSX sceneries and not really done anything with them. And yeah, anyway, you know who they are. Right, well, I think that is it for me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I certainly enjoyed the flight, and I really like this little helicopter. It is fantastic, so much fun to fly. Okay, see you later.